Stardust L, a science fiction sleep story, presented by Bedtime Stories. Make yourself comfortable, close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath. And now, let the story begin. Elara's world was a bubble of perpetual twilight. Not the kind of twilight that deepened into night, but a soft indigo glow that promised stars without ever quite letting the sun leave entirely. Nova Haven, her home, was a jewel box of a city, suspended in the slow, graceful orbit of a gas giant named Cygnus Prime. Its colossal rings, shimmering with captured ice and dust, were a constant, silent river of light flowing just outside Elara's window. Inside Nova Haven, everything was designed for comfort and efficiency. Her room, a perfect hexagon, hummed with a gentle, unseen energy. The walls could shift from a calming lavender to a vibrant forest green at her command, or display a panoramic view of any landscape she desired, though Elara always chose the stars. Tonight, they glittered in a deep, inky black, a stark contrast to the filtered light of her room. "Good evening, Elara?" A warm, modulated voice chimed from the ceiling. It was Aura, Nova Haven's central AI, who oversaw everything from atmospheric pressure to meal schedules. "It is 21:00 Standard Time. Would you like your usual chamomile infusion and a story?" Elara, who was pressed against the reinforced glass of her window, her breath fogging the small circle, nodded without turning. "Yes, Aura. And can you dim the room lights just a little more? I want to see the stars properly." The soft glow receded further, plunging the room into near darkness, save for the faint luminescence of the distant cosmos. Elara sighed contentedly. This was her favorite time. The artificiality of Nova Haven, with its automated pathways, its nutrient-paced meals, and its holographic lessons, sometimes felt too perfect, too contained. But the stars were real. They were vast and untamed, ancient and eternal, and they whispered promises, adventures, far beyond the polished corridors of her home. A small spherical drone floated into her room carrying a steaming mug. Elara took it, the warmth seeping into her small hands. "Thank you, Aura." She climbed onto her window seat, a cushioned alcove built right into the view panel, and pulled a soft woven blanket around her. "Which story would you prefer tonight, Elara?" Aura asked. "The chronicles of the first explorers, the legend of the sleeping nebula, or perhaps a new tale from the galactic archive?" Elara shook her head, a small smile playing on her lips. "No, Aura, I want a story from Grandma Maeve." Aura paused, a beat of digital silence. "Grandma Maeve is currently in her research lab, Sector Gamma 7. She is occupied with a Level 4 stellar cartography project. Would you like me to transmit a message?" "No, that's okay," Elara said, a touch of wistfulness in her voice. "I'll just, look at the stars." She knew Maeve would be deep in her work, probably surrounded by glowing screens and humming devices, lost in the intricate dance of nebulae and quasars. Her grandmother, Dr. Maeve Kestrel, was Nova Haven's resident astrophysicist, a woman whose mind was as vast and brilliant as the cosmos she studied. Maeve was also the only person who understood Elara's particular brand of stargazing. While other children on Nova Haven were content with holographic simulations or competitive zero-G sports, Elara preferred the quiet communion with the actual universe. Maeve had taught her to identify constellations, to understand the life cycles of stars, and to appreciate the profound silent poetry of space. More than that, Maeve had told her stories. Not the pre-programmed sterile tales from Aura's archive, but stories filled with wonder and a hint of ancient mystery. Stories about things that existed just beyond the edge of current understanding. Stories about Stardust L. Elara remembered the first time Maeve had whispered the words. It had been during one of their secret late-night rendezvous in the main observation dome, a massive crystalline sphere that offered an unobstructed 360-degree view of Cygnus Prime and the shimmering distant galaxy. Elara, then only 6, had been tracing the dust lanes of a nearby nebula with a small, gloved finger. "Isn't it beautiful, Grandma?" she'd asked, her voice hushed in the cavernous dome. Maeve, her silver hair pulled back in a neat bun, her eyes sparkling with reflected starlight, had smiled. "It is, little star, but imagine dust even more beautiful. Dust that remembers, dust that whispers secrets." Elara had looked up, intrigued. What kind of dust, Grandma? Stardust, L, Maeve had said, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Some say it's a myth, a legend from the oldest starfaring cultures. But I believe, Ilara, that somewhere out there among the oldest, most patient stars, it waits. From that day on, Stardust L became their shared secret, a whispered code for something wondrous and unknown. Maeve never explained what the L stood for, only that it was important. Ilara had imagined it countless times, glittering motes of light, each holding a fragment of a forgotten galaxy, a memory of a dying sun, or the silent song of a newborn star. Tonight, as Ilara sipped her chamomile, the idea of Stardust L felt particularly potent. She traced the familiar patterns of the constellations, the same patterns Maeve had taught her. There was the hunter, Orion, his belt gleaming. There was the queen, Cassiopeia, sitting proudly on her throne of stars. And always, just beyond their familiar glow, was the tantalizing darkness, the unexplored regions where Stardust L might reside. Suddenly, a soft chime echoed through her room. It wasn't Aura's usual tone, but a lighter, more melodic sound. A holographic image flickered into existence above her bedside table. A miniature, glowing projection of Maeve's face, her eyes twinkling. Ilara, my little star-seeker, Maeve's voice was warm, a little tired but full of affection. Aura informed me you wished for a story. And I confess, I was just about to send for you. Ilara scrambled off the window seat, her heart giving a happy flutter. Grandma, what's wrong? Are you okay? Maeve chuckled, a soft, raspy sound. Nothing's wrong, dear one. Quite the opposite. I've made a small discovery. And I believe it might interest you. Her eyes, usually full of gentle wisdom, now held a spark of intense, almost childlike excitement. Can you come down to the lab? Aura can guide you. I am on my way, Ilara exclaimed, already heading for her door. She didn't wait for Aura's confirmation, knowing the AI would open the pathway for her. She pulled on her softest slippers and a warm robe, the thought of a new adventure banishing all thoughts of sleep. The corridors of Nova Haven were quiet at this hour, illuminated by a soft, ambient glow. Automated cleaning drones glided silently along the polished floors, their optical sensors blinking. Ilara's footsteps were the only sound, a soft padding as she navigated the familiar pathways. Aura's gentle voice guided her, projecting soft directional arrows onto the floor. Sector Gamma 7 was a maze of laboratories and research facilities, humming with the quiet energy of scientific pursuit. Unlike the pristine, slightly sterile living quarters, the lab section had a lived-in feel. The air hummed with the scent of ozone and something faintly metallic. Here, the walls were lined with data screens, complex diagrams, and shelves filled with ancient-looking instruments alongside sleek, cutting-edge technology. Ilara found Maeve in her personal lab, a larger, more cluttered space than the others. It was a wonderland of scientific tools and personal touches. A miniature galaxy projected onto the ceiling spun slowly, its spiral arms a kaleidoscope of colors. An ancient potted plant, a real one, sat on her desk, thriving under a specialized grow light. Maeve herself was hunched over a console, her fingers dancing across a holographic keyboard. Grandma, Ilara whispered, stepping over a thick cable snaking across the floor. Maeve looked up, her face alight. Ilara, come in. Come in. You're just in time. She gestured towards a large, circular viewport that dominated one wall of the lab. Unlike the observation dome, this viewport looked out not into the vastness of space, but into a containment field within the lab itself. Inside the field, suspended in a shimmering blue light, was a small, irregularly shaped object. It was no bigger than Ilara's thumb, and it glowed with an ethereal, soft light, shifting between hues of silver, blue, and a faint, almost imperceptible gold. It seemed to pulse, a slow, gentle beat, as if it had a heart of its own. What is it, Grandma? Ilara breathed, mesmerized. She'd never seen anything quite like it. It felt alive. Maeve's eyes gleamed. That, my dear, is what I've been hunting for, or at least, a fragment of it. She tapped a few keys, and a complex diagram appeared on a nearby screen, showing the object, magnified thousands of times. It was a crystalline structure, incredibly intricate, with tiny, almost microscopic channels running through it. For years, Alara, I've been tracking anomalous energy signatures in the oldest parts of our galaxy, near the galactic core. Faint, almost undetectable readings. Most of my colleagues dismissed them as background noise, or cosmic rays, but I had a feeling. A hunch, as your great-grandmother used to say. But I had a feeling. Maeve's voice was filled with a passion that made her seem younger, almost as excited as Alara felt. A few cycles ago, a deep space probe, the Voyager 10, picked up a stronger signal, an unprecedented burst of energy from a region thought to be completely inert. It was just a flicker, but it was enough. Maeve gestured towards a smaller, glass-domed container on her desk. This arrived on the last shuttle from the Voyager 10 sample return module. She opened the dome, and Alara gasped. Inside, nestled on a velvet cushion, was a minuscule fleck, almost invisible to the naked eye. But even so, it emitted the same soft, shifting glow as the larger fragment in the containment field. It was tiny, yet so utterly beautiful. "This," Maeve said, her voice dropping to that familiar conspiratorial whisper, "is what I believe to be Stardust L." Alara's eyes widened. She reached out a hesitant finger, but Maeve gently pulled her hand back. "Careful, little one. We don't yet understand its properties fully, but look closely." Maeve activated a holographic projector, and the tiny fleck was magnified, floating in the air between them. Its internal structure, though still impossibly small, mirrored the complexity of the larger fragment. "The L," Maeve continued, "has always been a mystery. Some ancient texts suggest it stood for luminous or life-giving. But my research combined with the Voyager 10's initial readings points to something far more profound, something that transcends mere light or energy." She leaned closer, her voice soft but intense. "This dust, Alara, appears to be a repository, a vessel for memories. Not just data, but echoes of experience, traces of cosmic events, even perhaps the faint imprints of ancient civilizations." Alara stared at the glowing particle, her mind reeling. Memories? Stored in dust? It sounded like something out of one of Aura's fantastical tales, yet Maeve's serious demeanor and the tangible, shimmering object before her made it utterly real. How does it work?" Alara managed to ask. Maeve smiled, a little tiredly. "That, my dear, is the grand question. It doesn't seem to operate on any known principles of data storage. It's not optical, not magnetic, not quantum entanglement as we understand it. It's something else. Something that seems to interact directly with consciousness, with thought itself." She paused, then moved to a different console, pulling up a series of complex spectral analyses. "The energy signatures are unique. They resonate at frequencies that align with certain brainwave patterns. Frequencies we've only ever observed in highly meditative states, or during moments of intense creativity or profound emotional experience." Alara felt a shiver run down her spine, not of fear, but of profound wonder. She thought of her own dreams, of the vivid images and feelings that sometimes flooded her mind when she was asleep. Could this dust be like a dream captured, a thought made tangible? "I've been trying to find a way to safely interact with it," Maeve explained, gesturing towards the larger fragment in the containment field. "To read it without disturbing its delicate structure. The energy pulses it emits are subtle, but they are there. And I believe that you, Alara, with your intuitive connection to the stars, might be able to help me." Alara's heart pounded. Her? Help Maeve with something so incredibly important, so utterly groundbreaking. She was just a child. Maeve seemed to read her thoughts. "Don't underestimate yourself, little star. Science isn't just about equations and instruments. It's also about intuition, about wonder, about seeing patterns where others only see chaos. And you, Alara, have that in spades." She led Alara to a comfortable chair positioned in front of the containment field. "I've devised a preliminary interface. It's not meant to extract data, but simply to create a safe, resonant field. Think of it as a listening device for the dust's whispers." Maeve gently placed a light silver band around Alara's forehead. It was smooth and cool against her skin. This will help attune your own natural resonance to that of the Stardust L. It's designed to be completely safe, merely a conduit. Elara felt a faint hum as Maeve adjusted a dial on the console. The silver band pulsed with a gentle warmth. She looked at the glowing fragment in the containment field, its light seeming to intensify just a fraction. "Now, Elara," Maeve said, her voice soft and encouraging. "Just relax, breathe deeply, and let your mind be open. Don't try to force anything. Just listen. See what you feel. See what the dust might want to share." Elara closed her eyes, taking a deep, slow breath, just as Maeve had taught her during their stargazing sessions. She imagined herself floating in the vast darkness of space, surrounded by the silent, ancient stars. She let her thoughts drift, emptying her mind of Nova Haven, of Aura, of her comfortable hexagonal room. All that existed was the gentle hum of the lab, the soft glow of the Stardust L, and the quiet beating of her own heart. She focused on the feeling of the silver band on her forehead, on the subtle warmth it emitted. She imagined it connecting her to the glowing fragment, creating an invisible bridge between her mind and the mysterious dust. At first, there was nothing. Just the quiet hum. Then a faint sensation, like a distant echo. It wasn't a sound, nor a sight, but a feeling. A feeling of immense age, of slow, patient time. Then, a flicker. A shimmer behind her closed eyelids. Not a visual image but a complex tapestry of sensations. A vast, swirling cloud of gas and dust, far larger than anything she had ever seen, even in the observation dome. Colors she had no name for, shifting and blending, coalescing and dissipating. She felt a gentle pull, a yearning, a sense of movement, not of speed but of slow, inexorable change. Stars being born, tiny sparks igniting in the cosmic darkness. Stars dying, exploding in silent, glorious bursts, their remnants scattering like glittering tears across the void. And then, amidst the cosmic ballet, something else. A faint, almost imperceptible warmth. A sense of connection. Not to a star or a nebula, but to a presence. A feeling of profound peace, of ancient wisdom. It was like a dream, but she was awake. A memory, but not her own. A story, but told without words, only pure sensation. She felt a profound sadness, a fleeting glimpse of loss, as a star collapsed into itself, then an overwhelming joy, as new light burst forth. The feeling intensified, becoming more distinct. She saw, or rather, I felt the intricate crystalline structure of the dust, magnified beyond any instrument. And within it, like tiny, glowing pathways, she perceived currents of what? Information? Emotion? Then one channel, brighter than the others, seemed to open to her. It wasn't an image, but a strong, clear feeling. A sensation of being held, of being loved. And a quiet, beautiful melody, too faint to be heard, but deeply felt in her soul, like a lullaby woven from starlight. Elara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, though she didn't know why. It was a feeling of profound connection, of belonging. As if the dust was whispering a secret directly into her heart. A gentle hand touched her shoulder. "Elara, how are you feeling?" It was Maeve's voice, soft and concerned. Elara opened her eyes slowly. The lab was still there, Maeve's kind face above her, the glowing fragment in the containment field. But everything felt different. Brighter, more connected. I felt it, Grandma," Elara whispered, her voice a little breathless. "It's beautiful, so beautiful. And it felt like a lullaby." Maeve's eyes widened, a mixture of awe and understanding. "A lullaby," she murmured, more to herself than to Elara. She looked at the readouts on the console, then back at Elara, a profound wonder in her gaze. Remarkable. Truly remarkable. She gently removed the silver band from Elara's forehead. Elara still felt the echo of the dust's song, the warmth of its embrace. She looked at the glowing fragment, no longer just a scientific curiosity, but a living, breathing connection to the deepest mysteries of the universe. "What was that feeling, Grandma?" Elara asked, her voice still hushed. "And the lullaby, what does it mean?" Maeve looked at the fragment, then back at her granddaughter, a thoughtful, almost reverent expression on her face. "I believe, Elara, that you just experienced a sliver of the universe's own memory. And perhaps a tiny fragment of its oldest, most enduring hope." She smiled. A profound, gentle smile. "Us for the lullaby. Perhaps it's the universe's way of welcoming you. Or perhaps," she added, her eyes twinkling, "it's a promise of more to come." Elara looked at the glowing fragment, then out at the distant, silent stars. The universe suddenly felt much larger, much more mysterious, and infinitely more personal. She knew, with a certainty that settled deep in her bones, that her journey with Stardust L had only just begun. The lullaby still resonated within her, a quiet, beckoning tune, drawing her deeper into the cosmic unknown. The lullaby still resonated within her, a quiet, beckoning tune, drawing her deeper into the cosmic unknown. Elara held the fragment carefully, its warm, gentle pulse a counterpoint to the distant thrum of the station's life support. The light from it cast dancing shadows on the walls of her small room, painting the familiar space with an otherworldly glow. She tucked it carefully beneath her pillow, the warmth seeping through the fabric, a constant, comforting presence. As sleep began to pull at her, the lullaby softened, becoming a whisper on the edge of consciousness, not a tune of notes and chords, but of pure, resonant feeling. It spoke of ancient starlight, of long-forgotten paths, and a boundless curiosity that mirrored her own. Her dreams were no longer merely dreams. They were voyages. She drifted through nebulae painted in hues she'd never seen, past galaxies spiraling like cosmic pinwheels, feeling the gentle currents of interstellar winds. The lullaby wove through these visions, a shimmering thread guiding her. She saw not just stars, but patterns, connections, a vast, intricate web that hummed with a silent song. Stardust's presence was clearer here, a radiant consciousness that communicated not with words, but with a profound sense of belonging, a shared understanding of the universe's deepest secrets. It showed her faint outlines of other fragments, scattered across the cosmos like precious dewdrops, each one pulsing with its own unique facet of the lullaby. There was a great weave, she understood, a cosmic tapestry of energy and information, and its threads had become tangled, some lost entirely. Finding these fragments, reconnecting them, was a way to mend the tapestry, to bring the universe back into its full, harmonious song. When Elara awoke, the light of her room was soft and gray, just before dawn. The fragment beneath her pillow was no longer just warm. It pulsed with a subtle, insistent energy, a gentle invitation. The dream wasn't forgotten but deeply imprinted, a memory woven into the very fabric of her being. She felt a clear direction, a pull towards a specific sector of space, a shimmering, unmapped region known colloquially as the Nebula of Whispers. It was a place her parents, seasoned astrocartographers, had always deemed too unstable for survey, a beautiful but volatile cloud of gas and dust, where light bent in strange ways and navigation systems often failed. But Elara felt no fear, only a profound sense of purpose. She climbed out of bed, the fragment now nestled safely in a pocket of her worn jumpsuit. She made her way to the family's modest but well-equipped workshop, a space filled with the comforting scent of ozone and metal. Tucked away in a corner was her own project, a small, single-pilot scout vessel she'd been meticulously building and modifying since she was old enough to hold a wrench, the E-Dreamweaver. The E-Dreamweaver was a marvel of personal engineering, designed for quiet exploration rather than speed or combat. Its hull was made of a lightweight, self-repairing alloy that shimmered faintly, almost iridescently, under the workshop lights. The cockpit was compact, ergonomic, and filled with screens that usually displayed intricate schematics of nebulae or constellations. Today, however, as Elara settled into the pilot's seat, the fragment in her pocket hummed, and the screens flickered to life with unfamiliar symbols, geometric patterns that subtly shifted, almost like liquid light. "Stardust L," she whispered, touching the cool surface of the primary display. The fragment pulsed in response, and a gentle synthesized voice, warm and melodic, echoed softly from the ship's internal comms. "Hello, Ilara. The Dreamweaver is ready, and so are you." It wasn't the full deep resonance of the lullaby, but a clearer, more direct communication, as if the fragment was acting as a translator. Stardust L had integrated itself, or a part of itself, into her ship. Ilara's eyes widened. You've been upgrading my systems. I have merely awakened dormant potential." Stardust L replied, its voice imbued with a quiet amusement. "Your design was already elegant. I have simply woven in some cosmic threads. Observe." A holographic interface bloomed around her, not solid light, but shimmering tendrils that responded to her thoughts and the subtle gestures of her hands. The controls weren't buttons or levers but glowing sigils that pulsed with gentle energy. The main viewport, instead of just showing the workshop, now displayed a vibrant star chart, overlaid with a faint pulsing line that led directly to the Nebula of Whispers. "This is a thought interface," Stardust L explained. "And the navigational systems are now aligned with the resonance of the fragments. They will guide you through the veil." Ilara took a deep breath, a thrill running through her. This wasn't just a ship anymore. It was an extension of the lullaby, a chariot of cosmic discovery. She activated the external thrusters, and with a soft hum, the Dreamweaver lifted silently from its cradle. Her parents, who usually monitored her workshop activities, were still asleep, blissfully unaware that their daughter was about to embark on a journey that would redefine her understanding of the universe. The station's hangar bay doors slid open, revealing the inky blackness punctuated by distant, glittering stars. The Dreamweaver glided out, a silent, graceful shadow against the cosmic backdrop. Ilara felt a profound sense of connection, not just to the ship, but to the vastness around her. The lullaby, now a soft, guiding hum within the Dreamweaver's systems, filled her with a courage she hadn't known she possessed. The journey to the Nebula of Whispers was unlike any spaceflight she had ever experienced. The Dreamweaver, guided by Stardust L, seemed to dance through the asteroid fields, weaving through treacherous debris with an ethereal grace. The thought interface allowed Ilara to feel the ship as part of herself, anticipating every subtle shift in cosmic currents, every whisper of gravitational pull. The fragment in her pocket, and the one integrated into the ship, resonated in harmony, creating a localized field that seemed to smooth out the chaotic energies of the interstellar medium. As they approached the nebula, the stars began to blur, their light refracting through vast clouds of iridescent gas. The Nebula of Whispers lived up to its name. It was a riot of color. Swirling emeralds, deep violets, and shimmering golds, all laced with delicate threads of silver light. But it was also unnerving. The light here was alive, constantly shifting, creating illusions that danced at the edge of perception. Ghostly shapes seemed to appear and disappear in the gaseous depths, and strange, almost musical echoes reverberated through the ship's hull. "The veil bends reality," Stardust L's gentle voice explained. "Trust not your eyes alone, Ilara. Trust the lullaby. It will show you the true path." Ilara closed her eyes for a moment, focusing on the resonant hum that permeated the ship. She felt a subtle shift in the energy around them, a harmonious frequency that seemed to cut through the visual distortions. When she opened her eyes again, the chaotic beauty of the nebula remained, but a faint, shimmering path, invisible to her normal vision, now pulsed gently on the Dreamweaver's main display, guiding them deeper. They followed the path, deeper and deeper into the nebula's heart. The gas clouds grew denser, their colors more vibrant, until the ship was bathed in an ever-shifting kaleidoscope of light. Here, the whispers became clearer, not words, but a symphony of soft, echoing tones, like distant chimes carried on an ancient wind. Suddenly, the Dreamweaver slowed. Ahead, the path widened into a vast luminous cavern within the nebula, a space where the gas seemed to part, revealing a breathtaking sight. Suspended in the center of this ethereal chamber was a creature of pure light and flowing energy, a being of unimaginable grace. It resembled a colossal manta ray, but its wings were made of shimmering stardust, its body a translucent tapestry of cosmic dust and bioluminescent energy. Its movements were slow, deliberate, each undulation sending ripples of light and soft, bell-like chimes through the chamber. A lumina manta, Stardust L identified, its voice hushed with reverence. Guardians of the deep veils. They are weavers of light, their very being a part of the cosmic tapestry. The lumina manta was enormous, dwarfing the E-Dream Weaver. Its large, gentle eyes, pools of deep indigo light, seemed to regard Alara with ancient wisdom. As it drifted closer, a soft, harmonious hum emanated from its form, a note that resonated perfectly with the lullaby within Alara's heart and the E-Dream Weaver's systems. It was a call, an invitation. Alara, guided by an instinct she now fully trusted, brought the E-Dream Weaver closer. The lumina manta did not shy away. Instead, it slowly extended one of its vast, shimmering wings towards the ship. On the very tip of the wing, nestled among swirling stardust, was another fragment. This one glowed with a soft, cerulean light, its pulse slightly different from the first, a deeper, more resonant thrum. "It offers you a gift," Stardust L whispered. "A memory from the heart of the veil." Alara extended a hand, and the E-Dream Weaver's external manipulator arm, guided by her thoughts, gently reached out. As its robotic fingers brushed against the lumina manta's wing, the creature pulsed with a surge of light, and the fragment detached, floating gently into the arm's grasp. The lumina manta then slowly turned, its luminous form gracefully retreating into the swirling depths of the cavern, leaving behind a trail of shimmering light and a lingering melodic echo. With the second fragment safely inside the E-Dream Weaver, Alara felt an intense surge of energy. She placed it beside the first fragment on the ship's console. The two fragments, a warm amber and a cool cerulean, pulsed in rhythm, their lights intertwining, swirling around each other. As they connected, a faint, three-dimensional holographic projection shimmered into existence above them. It wasn't a star chart this time, nor a simple symbol. It was a complex, intricate pattern of intersecting light lines, radiating from a central point and spreading outwards, forming a miniature, constantly evolving galaxy. Within this miniature galaxy, tiny points of light, like miniature stars, began to twinkle, each one emitting a faint, unique musical note. The lullaby, now woven from the combined essence of both fragments and the E-Dream Weaver's integrated systems, swelled into a richer, more complex melody, a cosmic symphony. "These are memory shards." Stardust L's voice filled the cockpit, stronger now, clearer. "Each fragment holds a piece of the universe's original song, a segment of the Great Weave. Together, they begin to reveal the pattern, the design of the cosmos, as it was meant to be." Alara gazed at the holographic projection, mesmerized. The miniature galaxy pulsed with living light, its notes weaving together into an ever more beautiful harmony. She understood now. This wasn't just about collecting objects. It was about understanding, about healing, about restoring a lost balance. The universe wasn't just a collection of stars and planets, it was a living, breathing entity, and the lullaby was its heartbeat. "What is this pattern?" Alara asked, her voice hushed. "It is a key," Stardust L replied. "A key to the next location, a place where the threads of the weave are thicker, more ancient. A place known as the Cosmic Library, a nexus of knowledge and resonant energies, hidden deep within a sector of space thought to be empty." The thought of an entire library, a repository of cosmic wisdom, filled Alara with an exhilarating sense of anticipation. The journey so far had been wondrous, but this new destination promised something even more profound. She looked at the two glowing fragments, then out at the endless, shimmering expanse of the nebula of whispers. The universe felt infinitely vast, yet intimately connected. She was no longer just a girl exploring the stars, she was a fledgling weaver, guided by an ancient lullaby, on a quest to mend the very fabric of existence. Her journey had only just begun, and the next chapter promised secrets that would echo through the cosmos itself. Her journey had only just begun, and the next chapter promised secrets that would echo through the cosmos itself. The Stardust Weaver, a vessel less ship, and more a shimmering cocoon of light and thought, pulsed gently around Alara. It wasn't built for conventional travel, but to resonate with her unique connection to the universe. As she focused on the fragments, they didn't just glow. They sang. A silent melody that the Stardust Weaver translated into shimmering pathways through the void. She felt a subtle shift in the starfield outside, a softening of the sharp points of light into long, luminous streaks. The nebula of whispers, a swirling canvas of cosmic dust and nascent stars, receded behind them, its secrets held safe for now. "Where next?" "Little guides," she whispered, tracing the contours of the two glowing shards. They responded with a warm thrum against her palm, and a sudden, sharp clarity in the ancient lullaby that now lived within her. It wasn't just a tune, it was a map, a series of vibrational frequencies guiding her through a cosmic current. This current wasn't like anything she'd learned in her academy lessons. It was a river of dark energy, an ether stream, flowing between the galaxies, connecting disparate realms. The Stardust Weaver didn't accelerate in a flash of light, but rather dissolved into the stream, becoming one with its flow. Outside, the universe became a blur of cosmic paint, nebulae stretching into impossible ribbons, galaxies swirling like forgotten dreams. It was a journey of pure sensation, a feeling of being carried by the very breath of the cosmos. Elara realized the fragments weren't merely energy sources. They were repositories of ancient knowledge, perhaps even consciousness. As the Stardust Weaver surfed the ether stream, faint images began to flicker in her mind, like half-remembered dreams. Glimpses of impossibly tall structures reaching into purple skies, of beings made of light tending to cosmic gardens, of intricate patterns woven into the very fabric of spacetime. These were the memory echoes of the original weavers, the architects of existence, and the lullaby was their key. Each note unlocked a fragment of their wisdom, slowly, patiently, preparing her for what lay ahead. Days, or perhaps weeks, passed in this timeless current. Her human need for sleep and sustenance seemed to fade, replaced by a deep, resonant hum that sustained her. She felt herself becoming more attuned, her senses expanding beyond the confines of her body. She could feel the subtle shifts in the ether stream, the presence of distant stars, the faint whispers of cosmic dust clouds. She was learning to listen to the universe in a way she never had before. Finally, the lullaby intensified, becoming a beckoning chorus. The Stardust Weaver began to slow, coalescing back into its physical form. The swirling streaks outside resolved into individual stars, then into the distinct, if desolate, view of a lonely solar system. It was unlike any she had ever seen. The system's star was a dull crimson ember, barely clinging to life. Its planets were not the vibrant jewels she was accustomed to. They were stark, skeletal forms, orbiting in a silent vigil. The lullaby guided her specifically to the third planet, a world that should have been a vibrant oasis in a triple-star system, but instead hung like a broken promise in the void. Its name, she somehow knew through the fragments, was Viridian's Lament. As the Stardust Weaver descended through Viridian's thin, metallic-tasting atmosphere, Elara saw a landscape of crystalline dust and petrified forests, sparkling under the dying red sun like a vast glittering graveyard. Once, this planet must have been breathtakingly beautiful, its surface covered in lush, bioluminescent flora and towering, sentient trees. Now, only ghosts remained. She guided the Stardust Weaver towards a vast circular depression, a plateau scarred by what looked like an ancient colossal impact, or perhaps a deliberate act of cosmic vandalism. The fragments pulsed wildly in her hand, their light mirroring the faint, ethereal glow emanating from the ground below. The Stardust Weaver touched down with a whisper, its light absorbing into the crystalline dust. Stepping out, Elara felt an immediate chill, despite the warm glow of the dying sun. The air was thin, carrying the scent of ozone and ancient grief. The ground crunched under her boots, a symphony of tiny crystal shards. Around her, the petrified trees stood like silent sentinels, their branches sculpted into intricate frozen dances. They weren't just dead, they were unwoven. Their cellular structures seemed to have frayed, leaving behind hollow husks of crystallized matter, devoid of all life force. "This is it, then," she murmured, her voice a small sound in the vast silence. The unraveling. The lullaby was a mournful dirge here, echoing the planet's sorrow. The fragments flared, pulling her towards the center of the plateau. There, she found what looked like the ruins of an ancient city, not built of stone or metal, but of interwoven light and solidified energy. It was crumbling, its structures dissolving into the crystalline dust, as if the very memory of its existence was fading. Within the ruins she found a chamber, half buried, that still held a faint residual glow. It was a circular space, its walls inscribed with glowing symbols that pulsed in rhythm with her fragments. In the center, a pedestal held a shallow depression, perfectly shaped to cradle her two shards. Hesitantly, Elara placed the glowing fragments into the depression. As they settled, a gentle hum filled the chamber, and the symbols on the walls brightened, illuminating intricate holographic projections. They depicted Viridian's lament in its prime. A vibrant world, bursting with life, its skies filled with shimmering air whales and its forests teeming with glowing fauna. Then, a dark shadow began to creep across the projections, a slow, inexorable fading, until only the desolate landscape she now stood upon remained. The lullaby in her mind shifted, transforming from a mournful cry to a gentle instruction. The fragments resonated with the symbols, and Elara felt a surge of energy course through her. She understood. This chamber was a resonance hub, designed by the ancient weavers to interact with the fabric of existence. The tear here wasn't just a physical degradation. It was an existential wound, a loss of the planet's very Yi-song. She focused, drawing on the energy from the fragments, letting the lullaby guide her. She extended her hands towards a particularly unwoven section of the chamber wall, where the light energy patterns were visibly frayed. It felt like trying to pick up spilled water with her bare hands. The energy was diffuse, slippery, refusing to hold shape. "It's not enough," she whispered, frustration tinging her voice. "I don't know, Wang Halvei." Suddenly, a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer appeared in the air before her. It wasn't a hologram, but a distortion of light, coalescing into a vague, translucent form. It was tall, slender, and seemed to be composed of countless shimmering motes of light, like a living constellation. "You possess the keys, fledgling weaver." A voice echoed directly into her mind, not through her ears, but through her very thoughts. It was a voice like rustling leaves and distant starlight, ancient and knowing. But the song requires more than just the notes. It requires a conductor. Elara gasped, startled. "Oh, what are you?" The shimmering form solidified slightly, revealing more intricate patterns within its light. "We are the echoes of Viridian, the last remnants of this world's consciousness, sustained by the faint reverberations of its past song. We have waited for one who bears the ancient keys, one who might rekindle the melody." "You've been here all this time?" Elara asked, a mix of awe and relief washing over her. She wasn't alone. "We are part of the unraveling as much as we are witnesses to it," the echo replied. When the great silence fell, it did not merely destroy. It began to erase. Memories, connections, the very threads that bind existence. We are the lingering memory of Viridian's song, slowly fading, but still held by the faint resonance within this hub. "The great silence?" Elara pressed, sensing the immense importance of the term. "A cosmic catastrophe beyond the ken of current civilizations," another, slightly deeper voice chimed in from the same shimmering form. It seemed to be a collective consciousness. "I tear not in the fabric of space, but in the fabric of time itself, causing ripples that unravel the universe's fundamental connections. It began as a whisper, then a void, consuming the harmony of all things. Your fragments, the memory cores, contain the counter-harmony, the knowledge of the original weavers." Elara looked at the glowing fragments in the pedestal. "Their memory cores? Not just power sources." "Precisely," the echoes confirmed. "They do not just I give you power, little weaver. They I teach you. They hold the precise vibrational frequencies, the architectural blueprints of creation, the very essence of the weaving craft. The lullaby is the activation sequence. But the true weaving requires your unique resonance, your own song, to bridge the ancient knowledge with the present moment." "My own song?" Elara felt a pang of doubt. How could her small human song compare to the cosmic symphony of the ancients? Every being holds a unique frequency within the universe's grand composition. The echoes explained, their light seeming to pulse with gentle encouragement. The great silence sought to mute these individual notes, to unravel the tapestry by silencing its colors. To mend, you must not only replicate the ancient song but infuse it with your own authentic being. You must disheal the universe, not just hear it. Universe, not just hear it. They guided her attention to a specific part of the chamber, where a small, barely visible sapling of Viridian's native flora struggled to survive, its crystalline leaves dull and brittle. Begin small, fledgling. Connect with this life. Feel its fading song, its inherent pattern, its longing for wholeness. Elara knelt before the sapling, placing her hands gently around its base. She closed her eyes, focusing on the lullaby, letting its ancient melody flow through her. But this time, she tried to infuse it with her own emotions, her hope for the sapling, her empathy for Viridian's lament, her deep desire to mend. She imagined the sapling's life force, a tiny flickering flame, and willed it to burn brighter. The fragments in the pedestal pulsed in sync with her heart, sending warmth through her fingertips. A faint, almost imperceptible shimmer began to emanate from the sapling. Its crystalline leaves, dull moments before, now caught the faint light of the chamber, reflecting it with a subtle internal glow. A single, tiny, vibrant green sprout unfurled from its center, no bigger than her smallest fingernail. It was a minuscule change, almost invisible, but to Elara, it was a miracle. A gasp escaped her lips. I did it. You began, the echoes corrected gently. You touched a single thread. Now, you must learn to weave a tapestry. The nexus point of Viridian's lament lies deep beneath this hub, where the unraveling is most pronounced, where the fabric of existence is thinnest. The holographic projections in the chamber shifted, showing a complex network of subterranean caverns, leading to a central node that pulsed with a faint, raw energy. This nexus point was where the planet's very soul was bleeding into the void. To reach it, you must harmonize with the hub itself, the echoes instructed. Let the fragments guide you. Let your unique song resonate with the ancient lullaby. The path will open. Elara returned to the pedestal, placing her hands on the fragments once more. She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, and allowed the lullaby to swell within her. This time, she didn't just hear it. She felt it. A vibration that started in her chest and spread through every cell of her body, intertwining with her own unique frequency. She poured her determination, her wonder, her growing love for this dying world into the song. The chamber responded. The symbols on the walls flared, casting vibrant patterns across the floor. The pedestal began to glow intensely, and the ground beneath her feet trembled with a low hum. A section of the chamber floor began to recede, revealing a spiraling tunnel of pure golden light descending into the planet's core. Thank you, echoes, Elara whispered, awestruck. Go, fledgling weaver, they urged, their shimmering form fading slightly, as if their energy was being redirected to sustain the path. Mend this tear. And remember, you are not alone. We are with you. In the whisper of the wind, in the glow of the crystals, in the memory of this world's song. Elara stepped into the glowing tunnel. It was warm, alive with energy. She descended, carried by a gentle current of light, deeper and deeper into the heart of Viridian's lament. The tunnel twisted and turned, revealing glimpses of intricate crystal formations, and veins of shimmering, liquid light running through the planet's core. This wasn't just a physical journey, it was a descent into the planet's consciousness, a journey through its memories. Finally, the tunnel opened into a vast, cavernous space. Here, the crystalline structures were immense, soaring pillars that reached up to a domed ceiling, all pulsating with a dull, sickening gray light. In the very center, a gaping void shimmered, a tear in reality itself. It wasn't empty, it was unmaking. Light, energy, even the subtle hum of existence seemed to be draining into it, leaving behind a cold, desolate silence. This was the nexus point. This was the raw wound in the fabric. The lullaby was almost deafening here, a desperate, yearning cry for wholeness. The fragments in her hands burned with an intense heat, urging her forward. Elara felt a wave of fear, a primal instinct to recoil from the sheer nothingness that threatened to consume everything. But she pushed through it, remembering the tiny green sprout, remembering the echoes, remembering the ancient weavers who had faced this devastation before. She walked towards the tier, her footsteps echoing in the cavern. The air grew colder, heavy with entropy. She reached the edge of the void, feeling its chilling pull. Taking a deep breath, she extended her hands, the fragments glowing like miniature suns. I am Elara, she declared, her voice trembling but firm, and I am a weaver. She closed her eyes, focusing all her will, all her emotion, all the knowledge she had absorbed from the fragments and the echoes. She let the ancient lullaby flow through her, but this time she didn't just sing it, she declammed it. She poured her essence into the notes, weaving her own compassion, her own determination, her own boundless wonder into the cosmic song. Light erupted from her hands, not just the light of the fragments but a pure golden light that pulsed with life. It streamed towards the gaping tear, meeting the gray void with an almost audible clash. The lullaby swelled, becoming a symphony of creation, a counter-harmony to the great silence. The tear shuddered. The unmaking void seemed to recoil, pushing back against the encroaching light. It was a struggle of cosmic proportions, an invisible battle between creation and entropy. Elara felt an immense drain on her energy, as if the entire universe was pulling at her. Sweat beaded on her forehead, her muscles screamed, but she held firm, her gaze fixed on the shimmering wound. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the gray began to recede. The golden light permeated the void, not filling it but mending it. Threads of light, intricate and delicate, began to stretch across the tear, like a spider weaving a shimmering web. They interwove, tightened, and then, with a soft, resonant hum, the fabric began to close. The cavern filled with a gentle, warm light. The oppressive cold receded, replaced by a subtle warmth. The dull gray pillars around her began to glow with soft internal colors, greens, blues, purples, as if life was returning to their very crystalline structure. A faint, sweet scent of blossoming flora, long forgotten, drifted on the air. Elara collapsed to her knees, utterly spent, but a wide smile bloomed on her face. The tear wasn't completely gone, not yet. A faint, almost invisible seam remained, a scar in the fabric of reality. But it was no longer bleeding. It was mended. The fragments pulsed gently in her hands, their light softer now, as if they too were resting. The lullaby in her mind, once a desperate plea, was now a soft, satisfied hum. Above her the golden tunnel reappeared, beckoning her back. As she slowly rose, feeling a deep weariness in her bones but an even deeper satisfaction in her soul, the echoes of Viridian spoke to her once more. "Well done, fledgling weaver." Their collective voice resonated, now clearer, stronger, infused with a newfound hope. "You have healed a wound. You have brought back a whisper of Viridian's song." A faint shimmer appeared before her, a clearer, more defined manifestation of the echoes. They weren't just shimmering motes now. She could almost discern ancient, wise faces within the light. "The path ahead is long," they continued. "This was but one tear. There are others, scattered across the cosmos, each bearing a different mark of the great silence. But you have learned the first lesson. You have found your song." As they spoke, a new set of coordinates, a faint, star chart-like projection, appeared in her mind, emanating from the fragments. It showed a distant, unfamiliar sector of space, shrouded in an ethereal violet haze. "Go now, Elara," the echoes urged. "The next tier awaits. It is a place where memories themselves begin to fray, where the past and future intertwine in chaotic spirals. It is a test of a different kind. The cosmos calls." Elara looked at the glowing fragments, then up at the faint seam in the fabric above her. She had done it. She had truly begun to weave. The weight of the task was still immense, but now, it was tempered by the knowledge that she could, indeed, make a difference. She was no longer just a girl with a mysterious lullaby. She was a fledgling weaver, entrusted with a cosmic loom, ready to face the next challenge. Her journey, she knew, had only just truly begun. Her journey, she knew, had only just truly begun. Anya's smile was soft, profound. "Come, little weaver. Let us step into the threads themselves." Elara felt a gentle pull, not physical, but a subtle shift in her perception. The faint seam in the fabric above her seemed to shimmer, then expand, not into a tear, but an opening, a shimmering archway woven from starlight and shadow. Beyond it, she saw not the endless dark of space, but a swirling tapestry of light and color, a cosmic loom indeed, but one woven from pure potential. It was a place where stars were threads, nebulae were patterns, and the silence hummed with unspoken songs. "This is where we work," Anya explained. her voice a soothing echo in the vastness. The loom is not a machine, Elara. It is the universe itself, seen through the eyes of a weaver. And your lullaby, that is your shuttle, your needle, your very thread. Elara took a hesitant step through the shimmering arch. The air here was not air, but a sensation of infinite space, warm and welcoming. She felt a lightness, as if her own atoms had become part of the grand design. She looked down at her hands, still clutching the glowing fragments. They pulsed gently, humming in harmony with the cosmic loom. These are echoes, Anya said, gesturing to the fragments. Concentrated notes of the great song that first wove all things into being. They will help you find the rhythm. Anya led Elara to a particularly bright knot in the cosmic tapestry, a point where countless threads of light converged and diverged. Every star, every planet, every living creature, every thought, it is a thread, woven into the greater fabric. When threads fray or patterns lose their way, balance is lost. Our task is to mend, to guide, to sing the cosmos back into harmony. Elara felt a surge of awe, mingled with a tremor of fear. How do I do it? You listen, Anya instructed, placing a gentle hand on Elara's shoulder. You listen with your heart, with your very soul, and then you sing. For weeks, or perhaps it was mere moments in the timeless expanse of the loom, Elara practiced. Anya taught her to perceive the individual threads, to feel their vibrations, to understand their stories. She learned to identify the subtle hum of a healthy star, the gentle sway of a thriving nebula, the intricate dance of a young planet orbiting its sun. And she learned to recognize the discordant notes, the faint whispers of unraveling. Her first task was small, to reignite a flicker of starlight in a distant, forgotten corner of the loom. She focused, channeling the energy of the fragments, letting their light guide her. She hummed her lullaby, a soft, wordless melody that flowed from her heart, through her voice, and out into the cosmic threads. She felt the resonance, a gentle tug as the starlight brightened, pulsed with renewed vigor. It was a tiny act, but the joy that bloomed in her chest was immense, like a supernova within her own being. She progressed, mending small, spatial ripples that threatened to disrupt interstellar travel routes, guiding stray asteroid fields back into stable orbits, even repatterning the molecular structure of a fledgling world's atmosphere, to encourage the growth of life-giving flora. Each weave taught her more, deepened her connection to the universe, and refined the power of her lullaby. The song was more than just sounds. It was a blueprint, a cosmic algorithm, a language of creation. But with every success, Elara also felt the immense responsibility. She saw the vastness of the cosmos, the countless threads that needed tending. And she began to notice a pattern, a creeping dread that Anya had only hinted at. The great unraveling, Anya finally articulated one timeless day, pointing to a vast region of the loom where the vibrant threads seemed faded, brittle, and slowly pulling apart. It is not a sudden tear, but a slow, insidious decay. Entire star systems dim prematurely, nebulae dissipate without forming new stars, worlds wither before their time. It is the universe's own entropy, amplified by something ancient. Elara felt a pang of sorrow, a cosmic ache deep within her chest. She saw a once vibrant cluster of golden threads, now dull and fraying. A system of planets slowly losing their warmth, their light, their very essence. She could hear their silent plea, a faint, mournful hum that resonated with the lullaby in her heart. Can we fix it? Elara asked, her voice trembling. Anya's gaze was distant, filled with the wisdom of eons. We can try, but the great unraveling is vast, and the weavers, we are few. It has been happening for ages, long before you were born. Your mother, her mother, all of them fought against it, each in their own way, each adding their song to the cosmic chorus. Elara suddenly understood. Her lullaby wasn't just theirs, it was an inheritance, a legacy. It was the collected wisdom, the resonant frequency, the very soul of her lineage, passed down through generations of weavers. Each voice had added a layer, a nuance, strengthening the song. They are with you, Elara, Anya said as if reading her thoughts. Every time you sing with their voices, their hopes, their love for the cosmos. This realization filled Alara with a renewed sense of purpose, but also a deeper gravity. She was not just mending threads. She was carrying the torch of her ancestors, fighting a battle that spanned galaxies and millennia. The next challenge was immense. A colossal tear had appeared, not just a fraying, but a gaping void in the fabric, threatening to swallow an entire nascent galaxy. It pulsed with a cold, hungry energy, drawing in light and matter, unraveling the very concept of existence. This was not just entropy, it felt like a wound. "This is different," Anya murmured, her brow furrowed with concern. "This tear has a resonance, a negative harmony. It's almost as if it's being shung into being." Alara felt a chill that transcended the absence of physical cold. This wasn't just accidental decay. This felt deliberate. But who or what could create such a wound? And why? The bedtime story tone shifted slightly. A hint of ancient cosmic forces at play, not malicious in a human sense, but forces of dissolution. The ancient weavers spoke of a counter-song, Anya explained, her voice hushed. A discordance that sought to unmake what the great song had woven. They believed it to be a myth, a cautionary tale. But this feels like its echo. Alara looked at the gaping void, then at the glowing fragments in her hands. She felt the lullaby stirring within her, yearning to sing, to mend, to counter this dreadful silence. "I have to try," she declared, her voice firm, despite the tremor in her heart. Anya nodded, her eyes filled with a mixture of apprehension and immense pride. "Then let your song be the strongest it has ever been, little weaver. Let it echo all the songs of your mothers, and their mothers, back to the dawn of creation." Alara approached the tear. The cosmic energies swirling around it were immense, threatening to rip her own essence apart. She closed her eyes and took a deep, spiritual breath. She felt the fragments pulse, resonating with her heartbeat. She thought of her mother, of the lullaby sung over her cradle, of the comfort and safety it had always brought. She thought of the countless stars she had seen, the planets she had touched with her song, the lives she had helped sustain. Then, she began to sing. Her voice, usually soft and gentle, swelled, not just with sound but with light, with energy, with pure, unadulterated cosmic will. The lullaby poured from her, a river of vibrant sound, flowing directly into the heart of the tear. It was not a simple melody now. It was a complex symphony, weaving together the wisdom of her ancestors, the love for the universe that bloomed in her heart, and the sheer unyielding determination of her spirit. The glowing fragments in her hands dissolved, their essence becoming one with her song, amplifying its power, lending it the raw primordial notes of creation. The lullaby became a visible force, a shimmering, multi-hued thread of pure potential, reaching out, not to patch the tear, but to eye or weave it, from the very edges of its unmaking. The tear resisted. Alara felt the pushback, a cold, silent scream of uncreation, trying to drown out her song. Doubt tried to creep in, a tiny, insidious whisper suggesting that she was too small, too young, too inexperienced for such a monumental task. But she pushed past it. She remembered Anya's words. "You are not just a girl with a mysterious lullaby. You are a fledgling weaver, entrusted with a cosmic loom." She was the weaver. And this was her song. She poured every ounce of her being into the lullaby. Her voice resonated with such power that the entire loom seemed to thrum in response. Star systems flared, nebulae brightened, and the distant hum of the cosmos intensified, joining her chorus. She wasn't just singing. She was conducting a cosmic orchestra, a symphony of creation against the silence of unmaking. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, the tear began to close. The cold, hungry void receded, replaced by the shimmering, newly woven threads of pure starlight. The negative harmony faltered, choked by the overwhelming beauty and power of her song. Alara didn't just mend the fabric. She sang a new pattern into existence, one imbued with resilience, with a stronger harmony, with the very essence of life and potential. Finally, with a last powerful, sustained note that echoed through the entire loom, the tear vanished. In its place, where the void had been, now pulsed a brilliant, newly born nebula, swirling with colors Alara had never seen, humming with a vibrant, joyful energy. It was a testament to her song, a promise of new stars, new worlds, new life. Elara collapsed, not physically but spiritually, emotionally. She felt utterly drained, yet profoundly complete. The lullaby still hummed faintly within her, but it was a gentle, comforting resonance now, a feeling of peace. Anya appeared beside her, her eyes shining with tears of joy and pride. She embraced Elara, a warm, comforting presence in the vastness. "You did it, little weaver. You truly did it. You didn't just mend, you Agurius sang the fabric into being. You healed a cosmic wound." Elara looked at the newly woven nebula, then out at the endless expanse of the loom, now seeming more vibrant, more harmonious than ever before. She felt the interconnectedness of all things, no longer just as a concept, but as a living, breathing reality she was intimately a part of. The weight of the task was still immense, for the cosmos was vast, and there would always be threads to mend, songs to sing. But now, it was tempered by the knowledge that she was a true weaver, a guardian of the cosmic song. "My journey isn't over, is it?" Elara whispered, a soft smile gracing her lips. Anya chuckled softly, stroking Elara's hair. "No, little one. The cosmos will always call. But now, you answer not as a fledgling, but as a master of your own song. And the universe is so much brighter for it." Elara felt the gentle pull again, drawing her back through the shimmering archway, back to the familiar comfort of her own space. She looked up at the ceiling, where the faint seam had once been, now completely gone, replaced by the smooth, unbroken fabric of her reality. But she knew. She knew what lay beyond. She lay down in her bed, feeling the soft blankets around her, the familiar scent of her room. The glowing fragments were gone, their essence absorbed into her song. But the lullaby still hummed, a gentle, comforting melody deep within her heart. It was a promise, a secret, a connection to the stars. As her eyelids grew heavy, Elara looked out her window, at the countless stars twinkling in the night sky. She saw them now not just as distant lights, but as threads of a grand cosmic tapestry, each one singing its own unique note. And she knew with a quiet certainty that her own song was now a part of that eternal chorus, keeping the universe safe, one gentle, powerful note at a time. With a contented sigh, Elara closed her eyes, the melody of the cosmos lulling her into a deep, peaceful sleep, ready for whatever weaving the new day might bring. The cosmos was safe, for tonight, because a little girl with a powerful song had found her true voice.